Welcome back to another Sunday walk video. And as you can see, things are very different around me. It is chilly, it is cold, it's wet, and very snowy all around. This is how the Midwest is. Temperatures fluctuate week over week. Last week it was sunny, 60 degrees. Now 30 degrees and snowy. But no matter, I'm gonna get my steps in, and I'm recording this for you guys. And today I'm gonna talk about this trap that I've been in for years now. And I'm starting to realize that, yeah, I need to dig myself out. So that's what I'm going to be talking about. Unfortunately, I'm not wearing gloves. So me holding the camera, very difficult. My hand is freezing. I'm going to keep rotating hands. Hopefully I can get through this. All right, so what is this trap? Well, the trap concerns my content and how I've been investing, and basically I think both needs to change slightly, not completely, but slightly. And here's the reason. So let me explain. Right now, obviously, Bitcoin and crypto is coming up. Right before year end, we're about to get into December, but things are looking good. Bitcoin is around 38,000. We briefly broke above, and now we're a little bit below, but it's just a matter of time we break through 38, head to 39. We may end the year in the 40s, between 40 to 45,000. It's great, absolutely great. This is what is expected before the halving event, and who knows what's going to come afterwards. I don't need to explain more. You guys know. If you've been watching me, you know what's coming. But, of course, it hasn't been like this for a while now. Things really start ticking up in October, but prior to that, from January, our low, all the way to October has been pretty slow moving, right? We had a few stints of, pumps, I guess, but it was just really slow moving, and we had a lot of up and downs throughout those months. And obviously, since the peak of 2021 to the beginning of this year, that was over a year, and you add it all together, we've been like basically in a downtrend for a year and a half, and finally we started seeing some uptrend movement, and now we're finally starting to see some real movement, right? So obviously most of you guys know that, you've been holding, and that's what I've been doing. Basically, as a long-term investor, I've been holding and DCA. That's it. That's all you could do. It's the ultimate strategy, and we all know that, right? Everyone follows that if you're a long-term investor, because we all know that that is the right strategy. But it becomes boring. It becomes stale. Also, sometimes you may get scared. You may be second guessing yourself. Is this thing ever going to turn around? I've been spending so much money and time DCAing, am I going to get rewarded, right? So even the longest investor, longer term investors think that sometimes. Because of that, the content I've been putting out have been more focused on fundamentals, right? I don't think that's ever going to change, but I thought that was the important way to go. So throughout the downtrend, from all the way from 2021 all the way down, and this goes even beyond that. I mean, I've been doing content since 2017 for you guys, and a lot of you guys know that I just basically talk about the fundamentals. But obviously during bull markets, my content changed a little bit, more focused on like the hottest alts and trending things and stuff like that, right? But for the last maybe year and a half, it's been mostly covering fundamentals about Bitcoin because Bitcoin is the big daddy. It leads the way, and I feel like fundamentals are very, very important. There are a lot of people that focus on other things, what the charts say, what the lines say, and all these other things. But I focus on the fundamentals because ultimately that's how I justify to myself and to all of you guys that Bitcoin is going to recover and Bitcoin is the way, right? And it's been easy this cycle because the fundamentals of Bitcoin have been getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And that hasn't been the case in previous cycles. That's why that makes this cycle so interesting. Because even though, yes, the price is not back to the previous high of 69,000 for Bitcoin, the number of addresses, the number of holders, all-time high, sky high. You see the volume coming back in full force, right? On DEXs, on SEXs, on futures and options. In fact, some of them are all-time high. And again, Bitcoin's price is not. So anything that's measurable, that relates to the fundamentals of Bitcoin, wow, they're amazing. They're all-time highs. So I've been focusing a lot on fundamentals, where I feel like a lot of other traders do not. They kind of, they cover somewhat, but not nearly as much as me. So I always show you guys, right, charts that tell you like number of holders that hold 0.1 Bitcoin or 0.01 Bitcoin or 1 Bitcoin or 10 Bitcoin, all skyrocketing. Whale activity, skyrocketing, right? Overall number of wallets, the hash rate of the network, all skyrocketing, all-time high. Exchange reserves keeps on dipping down, right? These are all fantastic things. So I've been covering extensively on fundamentals. And also, I layer in a little bit, some of the technicals from well-known traders, like what they're seeing, but more on a macro scale. Of course, not day-to-day scale, but macro scale stuff. And also, I've been concentrating a lot on macro factors because I feel like it's important, right? If in the U.S., if the Fed decides to raise rates, well, it's going to affect things. When you look at the DXY, the strength of the dollar, it affects things. You look at everything else that kind of relates with the bonds and treasury yield, and of course, inflation and overprinting. I mean, if you look at all these macro things that I ignored before, they definitely have effect on Bitcoin because they affect investors and what to do with their money, right? Investors will either get more greedy or stingy based on the macro factors, based on if they feel like there's going to be a recession and a crash, or if there's going to be a big recovery. Obviously, there's a correlation there, right? So I've been concentrating a lot on macro factors too. And I feel like I was one of the only ones that started moving in that direction until like everyone started doing that. Anyway, so bottom line is I've been concentrating on Bitcoin a lot and also covering, the fundamentals and macro stuff of Bitcoin. And for me, I felt like that was the right move because it reinforced myself that yes, Bitcoin is going to recover, that this time is not going to be different than any other cycles. And I felt like that was an important message for you guys to understand some of these concepts because, quite frankly, they're difficult to understand. And I try to break it down as much as I can, especially when it comes to macro and just with money in general. It's just so complex. But if you break it down to terms that an 8-year-old can understand, then it's not. And then you realize it's all a Ponzi, and that's why everyone should be buying Bitcoin. But anyways, yeah, so that's the trap, right? Like, for my content, I've been focusing on some of the boring stuff, okay? And also when it comes to investing too, same thing. For myself, over the years, I've been just concentrating on Bitcoin and the big caps because that's what I know. And I know from previous experience, they're the ones that come back first. And then, of course, the mid caps and small caps and the new micro caps, that's when they start really coming back in full force after Bitcoin and the big caps start start moving. That's how it always has been, and I believe that's not going to be different this time around. So when it came to investing, same thing. I've been just holding and DCAing Bitcoin in the big caps, but I think now it's time to change. So that's the trap, I guess, for me. Like, the content and my investing has been basically very, very conservative. Very conservative. And I'm not saying that's the wrong call. In fact, I think that's absolutely the right call. But because of the current conditions and what's coming, I think it's time to change. So what does that mean exactly, time to change? Well, in terms of content, it's going to be a slow, gradual change. But what I want to do is bring more alpha. That's the thing, this new term, alpha. What does that mean? Give you guys the latest info on what's happening in this space. That doesn't change with Bitcoin. Obviously, I'm still always going to be concentrating on Bitcoin and covering Bitcoin. But I've been covering alts, right, along with my usual Bitcoin content. But I want to go deeper into them now. I want to go back to some of the things I've done before in terms of breaking down some of these alts, either doing deeper dives into them or covering new ones that have been trending or have potential, right? For example, the top 10 L1, L2s, right? Or the newest trending L1s to pay attention to, or the hottest AI plays in the space, or the latest memes that are pumping. See, these are examples of topics that a lot of people would do, and including myself would do in bull runs and hot markets, right? And I think a lot of you guys crave that because you've been watching me for years and you know about Bitcoin. You have stocked up and you stacked sats all the way down and upwards. And you know about Cardano and Solana and Polygon and all these big caps, right? A lot of you guys I know are craving, like, what about the ones that haven't moved yet? The smaller L1s that have not moved, and what about the new ones that are now pumping up? Give us the alpha on that, right? And I know a lot of you guys are craving that because in Q&A, that's all I get asked. In Q&A, I don't get asked about Bitcoin. No one's like, tell me more about Bitcoin in Q&A. Everyone's asking me, well, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? What do you think about this that's pumping? Well, what's your favorite place? You know, people are asking that. So that's what I'm going to do. In terms of my content, I'm going to start incorporating more alpha for you guys because I know you guys crave it. And I think this is the right time too because the market's heating up, market's getting better. We're definitely out of the bear market. Anyone that still is clinging on to this notion that we're going to make a new low and somehow we're in a bear market, I mean, I don't know what's up with them, but we're way past that now, right? Especially as we're getting closer to the halving event and beyond. So content on CryptosRUs is definitely going to change slowly over time. Not going to be a drastic change. Not like on Monday, my video topic is going to be the top 5 memes to ape into right now. No, it's not going to be like that. But maybe eventually, who knows? But right now, it's still going to be more Bitcoin and fundamental based. But I promise that I will be introducing a lot more alpha to this main channel because I know a lot of you guys crave it. So that's number one. Also, on my other channels, CryptosRUs clips, which a lot of you guys don't know exist. It's shorter clips from my live streams. That's obviously going to change as the main channel content change. But if you don't know about it, you haven't subscribed to it, you should. Because it's basically all the same goodness, except in shorter form. So make sure you check that out too. And then that also relates to CryptosRUs Plus. A lot of people have been asking me, like, what's the purpose of CryptosRUs Plus? Right now, yes, there's a lot of IFC content, which is absolutely fantastic. If you guys haven't been watching them, you should. But also I introduced Joshua Jake, who is still producing videos. Next one is coming up. But I'm going to be introducing new hosts too. And they're going to be doing more creative things. That's the whole point of CryptosRUs Plus, is to do different kind of content, more value, more alpha, but more entertainment as well. So that is coming up. I already have 2 other creators that have signed up, and they're going to come out with very different type of crypto content that you guys will enjoy. So that's also coming up. And also, this relates to some of the other things that I have that I don't think a lot of you guys know about or you have ignored. For example, I have a free newsletter. It's called the Herald. Absolutely free. We've been pumping out, me and my team have been pumping out fantastic newsletters for years now. Years. And in our opinion, it is the best free newsletter you can get, bar none. Because we subscribe to all the other free newsletters out there, and they're, quite frankly, just garbage compared to ours. We spend an enormous amount of time doing research and throwing out these awesome newsletters for the public, absolutely free, and we're going to change that as well. So we're going to make them even more appealing, shorter, straighter to the point, less fluff, and more alpha. So again, it kind of relates to the direction of the channel. Going to incorporate that into Herald too, which again is absolutely free. So any of you guys that are not subscribed to it, you should. Just no reason not to. If you're into crypto and you want to learn more, zero reason why you should not be subscribed to it. So if you want to subscribe, the link is in the description, just like all the other links that have been in there for years that you guys have ignored. So that's in the description. All the other channels I've mentioned in the description. And also this relates to Patreon too. I do have a Patreon membership with a private Discord group, but it's been operating for years, giving a whole lot of alpha, and it's going to give more alpha. I actually just talked with the team. We're going to kind of revamp how the newsletters are in Patreon and make that even better, more useful, more practical, more actionable, because I think that's what a lot of people want, right? So Patreon is also going to change, and that's in the description. So basically, bottom line is, this is the time to change, in my opinion. Okay? I'm falling into this trap of just being conservative with everything, with the content, with investing, right? And I don't think that was the wrong move. I feel like that was absolutely the right move, okay? Doing a 20x leverage in a bear market, not the right move. In a bull market, still questionable whether or not it's the right move, but at least you have a chance, right? So taking risk in a bear market, too risky. But now it's time to go a bit more aggressive, in my opinion. Because again, it's obvious that we're out of the bear market. We are in a bull market. We're getting to the exciting phase. You know, we got 5 months until the halving event, and we got spot ETF approval, not just for Bitcoin, but also for Ethereum. And we got all this institutional interest, and we're gonna get we're gonna start getting cuts next year from the Fed, and we got a presidential election, and we got other leaders from other nations like Argentina that are very bullish on Bitcoin and crypto overall. I mean, when you combine all these things, there's no doubt in my mind 2024 is going to be fantastic, and 2025 will be even better. So that's why this is the time to get out of the conservative mode, to kind of come out of our shells and become more aggressive, in my opinion. But of course, I'm never giving you guys financial advice. So remember that.